Hello, everybody. Oh, look at me, I'm a little off center. There we go. Let's try that. So, how is everybody today? It has gotten really kind of cold here, so I'm like all bundled up and stuff, but maybe during the stream I'll warm up and, can move off the scarf and things. So, quick note, I am trying out a new closed captioning thing. So, if you struggle to hear or enjoy reading subtitles or enjoy reading hilariously done subtitles by, on the moment, feel free to turn on the closed captioning. Is there a little thing on the side to click? Okay, cool. There's a CC button over there on the far side that you should be able to click. And it's doing it live, so hopefully it goes well. So, all right. So, welcome to Heart of a Hobbit here on the official Lotro Stream Twitch channel, and I am your host, Little Redhead. I'll be taking you through some places in Middle Earth today. So I see some some familiar faces in the stream there. So Lostshire Hobbit, welcome back, and Sandy, hi, and Smooth 0401. I don't know if I've seen you before, but welcome to the stream. Welcome to the chat. And yes, Smooth says, morning, everyone. I would say afternoon because I'm actually in Europe, and it is definitely afternoon heading into evening here. The sun has gone down. The sun was out today, which was lovely because it's been very gray and rainy for a good stretch of time. So the sun was out for a little while today, and it was great. But yes, I did notice the captions when I said on the far side over there, it said far side. Yeah, it capitalized it again, so there we are. Before it says, it did think far side should be capitalized. I approve. It's pretty funny. So yes, it's a good comic. So all right, so where are we? We are in the Lindleby housing right now. I'm at one of my houses. So I did buy a Lindleby house or two on a couple of servers. So this is 3 Floodside Road, in case you were curious what a house in the process of being decorated would look like. Let me show you the map. This is the map of the neighborhood. Let me get rid of that way you can't really see it anyway. So this is the map of the neighborhood, and it goes all the way up to the top over there, and it goes out to the edge over here, all the way down to here and here and here, and then it kind of branches out. And the center of town is here, where that's the horse for the far-ranging stable master is there. So that's really convenient, and that's where you can also find your Wenda Cranesbill, which if you are or ever become a VIP, Wenda Cranesbill is someone who is definitely worth getting to know. So let me show you where she is, because it just came up in World Chat not too long ago. First off, 8 minutes. Oh, well, I'll have to come back for that. Okay, so we're going to ride to the center of town, which is this way. I was delayed by a moment or two because the cats were happily snoozing up until about 35 minutes ago. And then one of them disappeared. Casper got up, and I don't know where he went. And Kato just got up, and I'm like, I know she's going to want to come sit on my lap. So I was moving the blanket because, she's kind of predictable in that way. And there she is, the stretching cat herself. Did you want to come up here? I know you do. I think she'll be here in a minute. You won't be able to see much of her, though, because she, walks down here, and so maybe her tail will come up, but that's about as far as you'll see. Anyway, this lady here, let me put the names on. Wenda Cranesbill is the VIP rewards vendor. So she's your VIP rewards NPC, however you want to name her. So you go and you talk to her because she has a quest for you. You pick up the quest, and so you accept the quest, and then to finish the quest, you click on her and you finish the quest. That's the whole routine. That's all you've got to do. Now you have 2 things in your inventory that you didn't have before, and that's these 2 things right here. So here, let me make this a little bit more obvious. Boom. So, and we'll pull this over here. So this is your subscriber's jug, and you want to click on it to consume it, but it will stay in your inventory. It's magic like that for 6 hours. So you can click on it over and over again if you want to. But what it does is it creates a timer, and during the duration of that timer, which is 14 days, you have accelerated crafting so your crafting goes faster. And it prevents item wear when you're in combat or when you're doing crafting or when you get defeated. So that's really handy. So right now, I actually have that effect active. And you can look at that. If you look under your current buffs, I have a thing there called subscriber buffs, and it is active. Here, I'll tooltip that off with the letter H and pull that over so you can take a look. And it says subscriber buffs, and it says those exact same things that we just know the subscriber jug is going to do for us. Let me pull that over so you can see the two of them. So it says, it tells you what it does, which is fantastic. So if you freak out and you're like, what does that do again? You can just look at it. It tells you. So now the item in my inventory is going to expire in 6 hours, but the effect goes for 14 days from the time that I consume it. So I will go ahead and click on it. And now my subscriber buffs has jumped out to being 14 days. Well, at this point, it's 13 days, 23 hours, 59 minutes, and 50 seconds. Now, the other thing you get is the subscriber town services. And this is a really handy thing. It's like, basically think of it as it's a bauble sitting in your inventory. And yeah, Lost Hobbit says, Wenda is so useful. She is. She gives us these wonderful gifts. And so when you click on the subscriber town services, it opens up this window. That allows you to browse the shops. You can sell things from anywhere in the world. It allows you to open your vault and the shared storage and the wardrobe, which are all three connected anyway. So you could start with it, whichever one you want. You can open the auction house, and you can also open the legendary item forge. So those you can just do from anywhere in the world while you're out and about. So what I like to do is I lock these buttons here. I forget what these, the quick slot bars. And so that way I don't drag things off and off, you know, here and there. Because like I'll be like in the middle of combat, and all of a sudden I'll be like, whoop, and there goes that. And I'm like, wait, I've lost my skill. Where did it go? You know, it's like so frustrating. Oh, she didn't sit on my lap. She's going outside. Probably because it stopped raining. Anyway, so what I do though is I do unlock my bars for the moment, and I grab that bauble and I put it somewhere very convenient. So for me, this bottom corner down here is the most convenient place for me to always find it and never lose track of it. It always has a spot right there. And then I lock my bars again, which I've set to bound it to a key on my keyboard. Yes, that's the international symbol for using a keyboard. Lost Hobbit says it's especially useful with the town services when you're in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, so useful. I love it. It's such a fantastic thing. Okay, speaking of, I'm going to click on it right now and over off of here, and I'm going to open my shared storage, and I'm going to throw some stuff in there, which is this. Now I think I have, yeah, I rearranged my inventory here on Laurelin recently, and it's much more effective. So I have all this legendary item extra stuff, and I don't have it all. Over on Treebeard, I have a character who just kind of holds a lot of this stuff, but I don't have that set up yet here. So I just put all my legendary item stuff in one folder now. So that's where I was putting those enhancement runes. Just popping those in there, get those out of my way. Is there anything else? Now, I have talked to Wenda recently a handful of times. And so I have this current bauble, which is this one. But I also have these two extras that I don't need, and they slowly decay. It's funny because when you get a new one, it doesn't like get rid of your old one for you. It waits until it expires. So like this one expires in an hour, and then it'll go poof out of my inventory. But you can just drag it out and destroy it. Just make sure you don't destroy it when you really want it. You can talk to Wenda once every day. So if you've talked to her today, you have to wait till the server reset happens until afterwards. So don't throw away your stuff by mistake. You'll be sad. Oh, Smooth asks, what is that skin that you have on there? That is fantastic. Yeah, I am a big fan of using plugins and other add-ons. And so the skin that I am using is out of the JRR Skins collection. Thank you, Moobot. Excuse me. There's the link if you want to go and check it out. And yes, it does mention that if you only want the dressing room there in the chat, you could do it that separately. And that's kind of what got me started on this, because I did want to just use, I was looking for the wardrobe, And let me see if I can show you. So like if I wanted to, there we go. So the dressing room, notice how my dressing room is so much bigger than the default in the game. And that's what I wanted. I wanted something nice and big so I could see the things a lot better. But the J.R.R. Skins collection comes with the larger wardrobe. And I was like, ooh, tell me more. So, so I have it downloaded now. And when you go, after you've installed it, follow the directions. It's not too hard. I was able to do it. I may have had before's help, but it happened. It's here. If you go to your UI settings, so this one right here, and then you scroll about 2/3 of the way down, you'll come across a thing under miscellaneous here, and it says current user skin. And for you, by default, it's going to probably say none. So once you have this installed, you have access to all of this wide variety of options. So I would suggest you click through and see all the different ones and see what, makes you happy. If you're curious which one this one is, this is the J.R.R. Delving Hills Wide 2. That's the one I am using, and I really like it. The Delving Hills ones are the Hobbit styled ones. So we've got, for example, a Hobbit door down here for the auto attack mode. We've got, if I look at the Lotro store, it's like a pile of barrels stacked on top of each other. When you go to the, the different windows, there's some fun stuff in the background. Like this one has Gandalf as if he's coming up to Bilbo's or Frodo's house, depending on when he's coming. It's great. I love the detail that they've put into these. So they were a whole bunch of different skins, and then the collection basically grabbed a whole bunch of things and brought it together. So it's all in one, which is fantastic. So yeah, Smooth says, excellent, thanks so much. You are welcome. Yeah, that is definitely one of the things we're here for, is to help each other out with the fun things we can do in this game. Loshire Habit says, thanks for the tip with the code and the skins. I managed to get my maps full screen again. Yay! I'm glad that worked for you. Yes, Smooth, there is an option in there. By default, most of the skins come with a map that is partially, does not cover the full window. It'll cover about 3/4 of your window, so you can see what's kind of going on the side. There's, in the instructions, over there on over on Lotro interface, if you scroll down, it'll say, hey, you want full screen map, find these 2 lines of code, and it tells you how to find them, delete them, and you're like, I'm sorry, what? Seriously, it's fine. You just go ahead and you just, delete those 3 lines or whatever it was, and then save your file, and then the next time you open it, your map will be full screen. So, easy peasy. It's something that I feel very confident to do. Megan is in the chat. Megan says, hello. I've started playing Lotro again, and I'm genuinely having so much fun. Yay! That is awesome. Smooth says, perfect, thanks for the tip. Loshire Habit says, can confirm it's fine, I managed to do it. Right? Those of us who at times feel technologically a little challenged, it's awesome. If we could do it, you could do it. I don't know what it is. Like, my brain just decides not to work with me sometimes, so I am never confident in something is going to always work. So it's nice. That one's really easy to do. Make it full screen. Hey, just in case you haven't heard me tell you this before, if you buy a house in the Lindleby neighborhood, I'll tell you my favorite location in the neighborhood is this one right here. If you go straight up the hill, because boom, oh, Matzo got this one. Nice. In this neighborhood. So this one, because you can just, I love it. And a market stall right in the middle. You just run right down the hill and boom, you're at the task collection boards. You're at Wenda Cranesville. You're right here at the town center. It's nice. I really like, though, the other house that I got here, the one over on Floodside Road, because it's right across the street from another one, and it just feels very cozy that way. It feels very hobbity, So it's like, you're just like, hello, friend. And then you're like come across the bridge, and then you're at your house. And so it's like you come out of your house, you're like, hi, how's it going over there? It's pretty cute. Anyway, okay. So my goal today is to get this character to 150, because we are so close. Well, I've still got about 1/4 of the bar to go of experience. we can do this. So Affodil and I are going to probably start off with some missions. I'll see how that goes. So it looks like she's already in the Hall of Vernozal, so I'll get my butt over there. Oh, and then while we're doing that, I've got some unclaimed allegiance rewards. So let's take a look at that business. So this is that thing I joined that I didn't mean to join, so I don't know. We'll see. We'll just leave that alone for now. Oh, but we do have some allegiance stuff that we haven't claimed here. So for these guys, for these dwarves. So let's go ahead and grab that. So tokens, tokens, tokens and story, tokens, neat-o. Okay, so that's as far as that goes. Cool. This is another plugin that I'm using. For those of you who haven't seen it, it's called the Deed Tracker. And it lines up really well with your deed log that comes already, like that's a part of the game. But you can, here, I'll show you. Boom, and pull it up. So it has everything kind of like the same, although Lotro just moved some things around in here, so he's now having to fix those. But or max it. Yeah, he'll be doing that on his stream. Nice. He streams right after me, so he'll be playing around with that on his stream. But basically, it also has all the hidden deeds in there. The deed tracker does, the plugin. And it shows you like how many Lotro points you can still earn in the various areas. And it's got a lot of other details that are in the game, but might not necessarily be represented in any way visually in the game. So it allows you to see more of that stuff. I never realized there was a step there. Is that new? There's a step. How weird. Sova, have you always been standing on a step? I may have to go back to my old videos and see if that's the case. All right, but first we're going to grab our missions of Gundabad from Zova. Cool, got it. Hello. Okay, and now we're going to run over here. And we usually start with Ausma, so we're going to do that. And we'll start with the first one, which is Hall of Ice. So we'll do that. And I'm not going to read through those, but you can read them when you come and do these, because you can do these starting, I think, at like level 20. So, oh yeah, I should probably eat some foods. Oh, I guess a couple of those overlap. And deed completed, we can cross that off. Apparently I don't have a fortified food right now. I don't even know. Maybe one of these upper level foods are confusing to me. It's possible that one of them is fortifying and trail or something like that. Oh, let me open my silver present.
Roasted spiced vegetables is trail and fortify.
The roasted something vegetables. Well, funny enough, I don't have any of those on there. That's funny.
Would you like some?
I'll have to fix it. No. I probably have it. I just don't have it on there. Wait, what do I have? I don't know what I have. Well, now I'm definitely confused. All right, we'll come back to this. Let's go hit things. All right, so our goal here is to destroy the ice blockades, like that one up there, and also defeat drakes. Although it won't let me defeat the ice blockade yet. So what I did is I was wanting to get far. Oh, we just have to click on it. I just thought I had to shoot it. Wow, this place is like deep snow for a hobbit. Zoinks. Anyway, so there's a legendary item reward track, and that looks like this. And I have everything on shortcuts. Well, not everything, but I have a lot of things on shortcuts. So if you ever want to know what I'm doing here, I can always tell you. Just ask. And anyway, so I have that legendary item reward track. So as you're doing things in the game, after you've gotten your legendary items, so you know your fancy schmancy, you know, yellow stuff that look like this, my hunter dagger of legends and bow of legends or whatever. Once you have those, you start earning legendary item experience. And that legendary item experience goes onto a separate little reward track. And through that reward track, you can earn things like more of the currency that you use to buy stuff to go onto those legendary items. But also, oh, I think we, oops, oh well. But also there's fun things, like social, things that are useful in social stuff, like cosmetic pets and mounts and yeah, and those and housing items. So those can also be found in that reward track, and every 3 months we get a new reward track. So over here in Lorelyn, which is what I put at the top there that we're on the Lorelyn server. Over here on Lorelyn, I tend to do a lot of social stuff. And I'm like, well, I want the cool stuff from my characters here on Lorelyn too. Lizardin says, good evening, folks. Good evening to you as well. So yeah, so I want the cool stuff from my characters over here on Lorelyn, especially my main characters. And unfortunately, with the reward track, you can only do it once per 3 months, and you know it changes every 3 months. So if you get a cosmetic pet, it's usually like a single one, and only one of your characters can have it, and there's no way to like get another one on that same server. Okay, technically, you could do the reward track on another server, and then transfer like, you know, shared items or character over with it, but that would be less than ideal. So anyway, yeah, that'd be kind of an expensive way to do it. Plus, then if you did it like that, then you wouldn't have that cool thing on that other server. So what I'm doing is, or have been doing, oh, I thought that was your pet flying behind you. I see that. I was like, oh, you have a turtle and a bat. How cool. I don't know what I was thinking there. And Ornell says, good morning, Lotro community. Good morning to you. Or good afternoon. Or evening. I assume there are people who are here later than me. It's 5:30 in the afternoon here in the Netherlands where I am. Oh, hey, I let the guy out. That's okay. This is fine. Yeah, B4 points out the sun's already down in the Netherlands. It is dark outside. Okay, so where was I? Oh yeah, so my main server has been Treebeard for, I don't know, a year or two now. So, well, kind of since Treebeard started, which was 2021, I believe, in the summer. Well, let me just walk right into that. But I also do a lot of social stuff here on Lorelyn. And so we make it through the reward track on Treebeard every time because we're doing like, those are our completionist characters, and we're doing everything, and you know, we're very active, and boy, where are these guys coming from? Come here. And so we tend to make our way through that reward track actually without much trouble because we are very active over that. But on Lorelyn, I've been doing it by myself. Oh, I'm gonna roll for those hides, sure. I guess I could have left them to you. Yeah, the hides that came up, I rolled for them.
We don't need Umbari hides for a little while.
Oh, okay, that's fair. Hang on, let's grab this reward. Cool, and then we talk to the scout, and we can leave. Cool, and then we go turn this in to Ozma. Yeah, so I would get, like, just from doing festivals, mainly from doing festivals, I would get, I don't know, a quarter of the way through the reward track if I really, like, worked at it.
Do you need something?
Let's see, Deep Spire, travel now. But I ended up always needing some help. And so I'm like, hey, honey, will you come help me over in Lorelyn? And so, funny thing is, it turns out that it's a lot easier to make progress on the reward track with delvings. Delvings are great for that. But you know what? One of the requirements for doing a delving is you have to be at server cap. So we've been doing delvings on Treebeard on a regular basis because we get to server cap. Once the new cap, every 6 months, 5 to 6 months, our server cap goes up and we get the next expansion in order. So right now we're in Eastern Rohan, and then Wildwood like a week, we get Western Rohan. And so then the server cap goes up, and we have a whole new area to play around in, and lots of things to explore and that sort of thing. So while we're at server cap on Treebeard, we've been doing missions, and then we like go through that reward track really fast. So we're like, well, hey, why don't we do that on Laurelin? That'll get me that virtue or the legendary item reward track experience really fast, right? Faster than questing, generally. Like, that sounds great. Let's do that. So we're like, well, okay. Level cap is 150 now with the new Umbar expansion that released. Okay, so we just need to get to 150. Well, my character was like 95 or something like that, 98 from doing festivals. Like, that's pretty much all from festivals. So that's a lot of festival activity. But Affodil here was like, I don't know, 35 or something, much lower. So like, well, that's going to take a long time, and our levels were really wide apart. So we thought, well, what if we just take like valars? Just do that boost up, which I had never done. I thought that was an interesting way to do it. So we had, from buying expansions, valars sitting in our inventory. But the funny thing is, when you do that, it shows up on the character that you log in with first after you buy the expansion. And we haven't necessarily been diligent in keeping track of where that has been happening, because we never expected to actually use our valars. It was kind of one of those things like, well, that's nice, but we'll just set that aside and stick it in a cupboard somewhere behind the empty boxes, and we'll find it one of these days, right? Well, one of these days came up, and we couldn't necessarily find our valars, but. So the amusing thing is I had a 140 valar. I found mine. Affodil could not find theirs. Oh, and then you did find it over on Landreval. So funny thing about transferring, and some of you already are going to know where this story is going. When Lotro started, here's the long version of the story. When Lotro started, it was, first of all, a different company that started it, called Turbine. And later on, that kind of spun off, and people created Standing Stone Games. And so Standing Stone Games is now the owner of the game, and they manage it, and they're the ones who like create new stuff and all that stuff. But back when it was still Turbine, back in the early days of the game, they had a group of servers. This is back when physical server location actually made a difference. They had a group of servers in the US, and they had a group of servers in the EU. I can't remember exactly where they were. People have told me where they were located. I can't remember. And the ones that were here in Europe were managed by a separate group, like a contracted group, called Codemasters. And for whatever reason, I don't know the exact reasons, but the way that Codemasters did some of the coding and the way that Turbine did some of the coding was slightly different. And that resulted in a software situation where you cannot, Lizardland says, parallel universes on different continents, basically, right? So it created a situation where if you create a character on one of the servers, one of the types, let's say American, or the US servers as they're called, you cannot transfer anything, character, supplies, nothing, to the other variety of servers. Oh, nice. Gundabad Mission Slayer. I have defeated 800 foes during missions in Gundabad. That's a few. So you've got the US servers and you got the EU servers. Now, they're physically co-located now. They're all in like the Boston area, and then just managed by all the same team. And you can actually, that way you don't have to have two different teams of people doing your software and hardware and everything. But anyway, even though the servers are co-located, that old code still persists. And I don't think they can get rid of it because this has come up many times. People asking, can't we just do something about it, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, no, it's just not a feasibility. Now, I mean, yeah, I was going to say, yeah, in the scope of reality, anything is possible, sure. I mean, in the scope of reality, I could recode the servers. You know how long that would take? More than my lifetime. And probably would cost more than it's worth. So, okay, technically, it's possible to rewrite whatever they would need to do in order to make it possible to transfer from one to another. Is it worth the time and the cost? Absolutely not. So they have said it would take more, time and cost to do it than would actually make sense. So, there goes the scout. He just ran right by us. So that's the reality that we live in, right? Is that if you have anything on any of the US servers, you cannot transfer it to the EU servers, and vice versa. If you have anything on the EU servers, you cannot transfer it to the US servers. No big, whatever. But it just means like if you have stuff on Landreval, which is a US server, you can't send it over to Laurelin, which is an EU server.
Be wary.
Which is one of the reasons why I ended up on Laurelin, was because it was an EU server. Because we live, in Europe. And I was like, hey, I would like to be playing at the same time as other people who are in my same region of the world might also be playing. So that's how, one of the reasons why I ended up on Laurelin. And then it happens to be a role-playing server. And I was like, oh, that sounds like fun. Let me give it another try. And I have been having a blast with it. I'm absolutely loving doing the role-playing. Agronaut says there are 150 levels. Oh, yeah, it's gotten up to 150. It's a little crazy. Let me try that again. I have to pick the one at the bottom. There we go. Yes, so that's why this character, even though she's came in at 140 after I used my valar, she's still a little behind on various things. So like, a cool thing though is when you do a valar, they give you basically like a box with a whole bunch of stuff in it, bunch of boxes with stuff in it. It's really neat. So I got like upgraded like weapon, or not weapons, but maybe weapons. Yeah. There were some swords and things. So weapons, equipment, armor, jewelry. Like they made sure that you didn't walk into the next room and just get pummeled or something. So that was neat. Oh, anyway, so what ended up happening then? So the TLDR here is Affodil ended up doing a 130 Valar, and I did a 140 Valar because we decided not to buy another one because those are like 6,500 Lotra points, and that was a lot. We were like, we already have one. It's a lot cheaper just to transfer something than to buy a new one. So we've been working on catching up to 150 in an effort to go do the missions so we can get my legendary item reward track to all the goodies. I know, right? It's a long trail. So, let's see. Algronaut says, I played this game when it first came out. Max level was 50. Yes, it was. So we were just talking a little bit ago about legendary servers. One of them is called Treebeard. And that's the main server that I play on most of the time. And they do it so that you get that kind of some of that early experience again, and you get to take it slower than coming to like a server like this. So over on Treebeard, now we're up to 85 already on Treebeard, but basically it starts off like that where you, for the first period of time, you only have access to that opening area, to the area door that you started with when you started playing the game. And that's really fun because goodness, just bounce me back. It's hilarious. Because it's really cool because then you really get to spend a lot of time just spending time in that first area. And then what they do is on Treebeard, it's every 5 to 6 months. So then we started here. Let me see if I can pull up a map. I probably shouldn't do it in the middle of the instance, but I'll show you after we get out. Then we got Moria and Lothlorien, and then we got, so like it just, incrementally expands our world out there. And that's a lot of fun because we really get to take a lot of time just, wandering around in these areas where if you play it on a server like this where you have everything all at once, it can be a little overwhelming, I think. And sometimes it's like, you get to be like level whatever, and they're like, oh, hey, Rohan calls, they need your help. And you're like, I'm not ready for Rohan, I'm still working on this other stuff, that sort of thing. So it's nice that it doesn't send you to the next area because it can't. And I like that. And so, yes, B4 says, they have a habit of increasing the level range when they do major autumn releases. That's kind of the rhythm they've gotten into in the last few years is once a year, and it's usually in the autumn, they release something big. And then throughout the year, they release other little things. So they just got into basically after the War of the Ring is over. And there's a lot of kind of tidying to do and figuring out who's who in the world and what's everybody up to. That's where the game has just moved into. So Aaron Bard says hello. Hello. So Agronaut asks, is this the endless dungeon content or something? What we're doing is missions, which missions may not have been around when you were around, but basically it's instances where there's some storyline involved. So in our case, there's some dwarves, and over in the area of the 3 peaks, and I can show you that on a map here in a minute, the dwarves are working together, various factions of dwarves, to reclaim the area of Gundabad from the goblins and orcs and whoever else is in there. So this is us helping out with that. So they have a place in a hall with a, great dwarven name, the Hall of Vernozal. And you pop in there, and there's a couple of quest givers, and they're like, hey, we would like you to go help us out with X. And so you then, like a scout takes you out there from a storyline perspective, and they've basically shown you where this thing is, and now it's your job to kind of, as a hero, to go in here and help deal with things. So in this case, we're dealing with some gred bugs, and we need to pick up mucus for some reason, because no one else is going to. We have to collect the mucus and extract poison glands from within the hive. So that's one of the things that we are doing in this particular mission. So missions are a special type of instance, but it's like an instance. Like, you're dropped into some place outside of where you just were, in a different place, in a different time. No. Hang on, let me see if I can stun this lady before she does something to you. There we go. Oops. Let's see. Zvairenblad asks, is there some PvP? Oh, there is some PvP in Lotro, question mark. Let's see, and Aaron Bard says only a little, you can spar with others. Lizardland says, I like that there isn't open world PvP. And before it points out that instance is like another word for dungeon. That's true. That's a good point, sorry. I just kind of skipped right through that. PvP, there is an area where you can play as a player character or as a monster character. And in that specific zone, and it's in starts with an E, Ettenmoors. They put it in the Ettenmoors in this world, in Lotro. And you could go there, and the monster player characters can fight the player characters. So there is some player versus, player character versus monster player character PvP, basically. They call it PvMP, player versus monster player. So you're not like a hobbit hitting an elf, but you might be like a hobbit hitting a spider, or you might be a spider trying to eat a hobbit, that sort of thing. But it is contained to just that one area. You can't, it's not in the open world. You're not going to run into it out here. Okay, so, I just screwed right through that. I meant to read that for you. I'm sorry. Let's see. The mission is, there's a dreaded two-headed troll, Stugadzar, and he poses a grave threat to our cause. And so our mission is to go, defeat this foul creature. And then a lot of these have some sort of twist, like they'll call in reinforcements or things like that. Yeah, Svernblad, no problem. So you'll hear people talking about that, is there any action in the Etten Moors? And that's what they're talking about. Is anybody out there? Because really, to have a good time with that sort of thing, you need a lot of people, right? Like, if you're going to play Capture the Flag and only one team plays, it's not really a lot of fun. So it's nice when you can get a group of people on either side to play that. Now, I haven't personally tried any, except for one time, and it was actually I think it was April Fool's thing, where you could go be a chicken and you had to run across the Etten Moors and not get taken out as a chicken. And so I did that, and that was a lot of fun. And they did have situations where player characters were popping in to help protect the chickens, and then there were monster players who were trying to eat the chickens or catch the chickens. So that was a lot of fun. That's the only time I've been to the Etten Moors, though. I had a great time with that. So it's possible they may try and do that like once a year for April Fools, do the chicken thing again. Your health is, by the way, not 100%. Okay. Marculas says hello there. Hello there. Oops. Hang on. Is this? Oh, this is the big guy. This is our objective. I should hit him with things. Oop, he's about to do a thing on you. I did not. Oh, I interrupted the other one. That's nice. Sorry, kind of a little. There we go. We defeated him. Yay! Shoo! Right. So the way these missions go is then after you've completed your objective, a dwarf scout in this case will come to escort us back to where we were. But they bring a chest with them. I mean, they could have just left it back in the hall, but they bring a chest with them, which gives us some tokens that we can use with those folks to buy things. So we open the chest, we get our reward, yay, and then we saw on back. So, yeah, Aaron Pard says, spawn in the wolf den. I'm thinking you're talking about the Etten Moors, and be instant lunch. I think I did that.
Live or die.
The chicken thing was not like a one and done. We're 150! Let me get that out of the way. I have never had a cap level character on of this style. Well, that's exciting. Woo. Now the cool thing is Affodil is only 2 levels behind me, even having started 10 levels behind me, but yeah, she's catching up really fast. So, yay! All right. So now I can rest on my laurels for the next, year or so until the level cap goes up again. Hey, thank you everybody for the congratulations in the chat. Woo! Well, that is neat. Okay, so I got a new mail. Well, hang on. I got completed a deed, which is probably something about get to 150. Oh, I should open the deed tracker. It'll tell me what it was. Well, maybe it doesn't. Delvings, introduction. Oh, you advanced high enough to level for deeper delvings. Okay, so now it's telling me that I can now do delvings. Yes, Hobbit cheers for the fellow Hobbit. Woohoo! Yeah, we could do flips and stuff here. Let's do some flips. Oh, speaking of, we'll come back to this in a second, but flip. Yay, do a flip. Woo! Ta-da! And let's see, I have a deed bestowed. Oh, Delving's introduction. Cool. I have a remote quest, which is the missions one, or probably a Delving's one, I would have thought. And then, let's see, I have new mail, which is Deep Miner. All right, this is what's supposed to happen. This didn't happen on Treebeard because Treebeard's special. So let's see. Yes, rest on your laurels on Laurel Inn. Of course, exactly, Aaron Bright. I like that. Timothor has asked, do they still launch level cap servers? Well, I was saying earlier that our main server is actually Treebeard. And let's see if I can zoom out here. I guess I could have just gone. So when Treebeard launched, it's a slow progression server, which means when it launched, we only had access to Area Door, which is this area here. So everything up to level 50, basically. So you've got Eredlun and the Shire and Breland, where you might start your character, and then you also have access to the Yonder Shire, which is another low-level area just above the Shire, like literally in levels and location. You've got then the Lone Lands that you quest in next for leveling. You've got the North Downs, Trollshaws. Angmar was kind of like cap level stuff, content. You've also got Swanfleet and Cardolan, which is another place that you can start a character now. So that was kind of like where we started on Treebeard. There's the Ettenmoors, by the way, just in case you were curious, and that's what it looks like. So that's where you go in, and these are these camps that you can go in and out of, and it's a whole thing. Anyway, so then 6 months after Treebeard launched, they opened up the gates of Moria, so we could go into Moria, and we had a Region, and then we had, let's see, there's Moria, and then that also gave us Lothlorien and the Dimril Dale. So we had this area also. And then every 6 months, 5 to 6 months, we get the next area. So, we went, like we had Eriador to start, and then we got in, we got through the Misties, came into Lothlorien, and then we went into Mirkwood, so southern Mirkwood down here, and now we're working our way down the Great River, and then we ended up in Rohan, so we are over in like on your side, eastern Rohan to start, over here, and then next week or in a week, we're getting the other one, Western Rohan, so we'll get Edoras and all of that area. And then eventually we make our way into Gondor and make our way to Mordor and so forth. So Timothos, to answer your question, is sort of. They still are doing what they call legendary servers, and each one has kind of a different flavor. And what they've done most recently is because Anor and Ithil, which were paired together. Anor opened, and then it was there were lines to get in, so basically they opened Ithil, and those two are both the same thing, which was basically that thing I'm talking about, where every so often they introduce the next section, and it was about every 3 to 4 months, and so by the time it got towards the cap that is the same as what's happening in the rest of the servers, Ithil had already kind of stopped being used very, very much. So they transferred people off of Ithil, or people could transfer. And then Anor hit cap. And so then they've said, okay, everybody off of Anor, and we're going to close it. And then they started new ones. And just so before they started, before Anor finished, they started Shadowfax and Treebeard, or as I call them, Shadowfax would go every 2 months to the next section. So it was very fast, and you got 150% of normal experience. So they went zoom, zoom. And then on Treebeard, we, every 5 to 6 months, we get the next expansion, so much slower, and we get only 40% of experience when we do it, like for anything, quests, monster kills, all that. So we go, we go much slower, so that was your options there. Oh, I should open this up. Okay, let's check this out. So that's what they've been doing with the servers like that. They haven't had anything where they've opened it and just left it capped forever. They've always recently been like, okay, then the next thing, and then the next thing, and then the next thing, until you slowly catch up to where the other servers are. So So that's how that is rolling right now. Who knows if they change, if they're going to do something different? You never know. I mean, I think they kind of keep an ear on what is interesting, what people are liking, what people are looking for, and to see if that's something that they can do. So if all of a sudden everybody was like, you know, we would love to have a server that's just missions and nothing else, like they'd be like, well, can we do that? You know. So, yeah. So that's kind of what they've been doing with the servers lately, though. And let's see. Before it says, I think that they haven't needed new capped servers for population control recently, so they haven't made them. Yeah, that's it too, right? Like, is there a need? Is there a need? I mean, it's like every business, right? Is there a need, and is there an interest? You know, is there a market for it? And if there's not, then they probably wouldn't do it. Timotho says, I like the slow progression. I am loving it over on Treebeard. We are at we're at 85, right? Yeah, 85. We go to 95 next week. So it's, you know, if you were to join now, you might feel a pressure to escalate quickly, but you wouldn't have to. Like, there's people that are constantly like, okay, you know what, I'm going to start over again, or if I've got this at 25, or hey, is anybody doing, you know, Great Barrows, or like, there's always stuff going on. But I will admit, though, the majority of the active population is at the higher end of the server. But it does have an interesting population because, like, the people who wanted to go really fast and weren't interested in exploring every like nook and cranny, they just wanted to zoom to cap level and do end game content at whatever that was at that time. So it's kind of fun, right? You're doing like level 50 content as a level 50 character. It's like, it's got a little nostalgia value to it. So that's kind of fun. And so there are people who really want to zoom to that and just do that. And so they were doing that over on Shadowfax. But an interesting thing happened is that Shadowfax's population, you know, people checked it out at first, but then they kind of got bored with it, and it didn't really, it wasn't the success that you would have thought it would have been by how vocal people had been on a Nor about wanting to go faster. So I think it was a small vocal minority that was like, we want to go faster, because the numbers didn't show up, I don't think, over on Shadowfax. Whereas on Treebeard, you've constantly got people who are like, I'm so glad we're here, I'm so glad we're taking it slow, I'm really enjoying this, because so much of Lotro is really about the journey, not the destination. So that's what makes this really funny, actually, in a way, for me to get to 150 today. It's kind of anathema to that whole idea and how I play normally. But it was still kind of fun to do that on stream with everybody. Anyway, so where was I going with that? Yeah, so we'll have new people here. I'll read this in a minute. Let's go ahead and do the mission. Let's get started on the next mission, so that way we can try to get you to 150.
There is much
And I can talk in the
little
background.
time for talk.
But yeah, so it's neat because people will join up on Treebeard and they're like, oh, I feel so behind. And people are like, no, take your time and do what you want. Don't worry about it. Like, yeah, it's a very chill environment, and it is filled with people who are of that kind of, you know, mindset of it's about the journey, and who are enjoying that journey. So I would say if you wanted to jump over to Treebeard now, you might feel a little lonely, I will admit that, but you would not be the only one running around on a low-level character. In fact, one of our kinnies just recently was trying to put together like a level 50 group because they've got a level 50 that they want to go and do some content with. So, yeah, and B4 points out, he says, I see low-level characters on Treebeard all the time. So, and you wouldn't see them if they weren't playing, you know, like if they were just there to pop in and pick up ingredient crates or something. And it is an interesting group because, like, I find it really fascinating, the populations of Lotro, because you've got a pretty mature group in general that plays Lotro, I think. And maybe it's because it comes from a book series, you know, and so maybe that's just a different, you know, style of play that people are looking for. They're looking for something that is going to be attentive to the lore and you know, are interested in spending some of their emotional and intellectual time debating the lore and not debating, I don't know, you know, Yo Mama or something. So I don't know. So it's already a different kind of like interaction that you get in the Lotro community, and I like it. Like I feel comfortable in it. And then you step into like the legendary servers, and because it's VIP only, I should mention that you have to be, or not VIP, but subscriber. So you have to be a subscriber of some sort, whether it's a lifetime subscriber, if you were lucky enough to be one of those people, from like 16 years ago, or a VIP subscriber. So you do have to be a financially contributing person in order to play on those servers. But I think because of that, it also, it screens out another layer, and it's really interesting. Like I'm playing on Laurelin a lot these days, and I love it here. And World Chat is generally pretty cool, pretty helpful, like your normal, like what I would say is your typical Lotro interaction. But once in a while, and it did like yesterday, I think, or no, maybe it was Sunday. Every once in a while, it just gets really weird. It's usually later in the day. So, so there's me with my, like, it's those darned Americans, right? Me being an American. It's kind of ironic. But yeah, I don't know. There's just something like, it's like, what are you people doing? Like, it just gets weird. And then you'll have a handful of people who are like, so, should we talk about pineapple on pizza? How do people feel about that? Just like steering the conversation back to something. It's really funny. B4 says, I think it's self-selection. You don't play Lotro if you need your games to look hyper-modern. That's a fair point. It has this artistic style to it. I always talk about how I feel like I've stepped into a painting because it's just so, there's just such a beautiful style to it. I really love it. Yeah, so if you were looking for, and it's not cartoon-ish, you know what I mean? Like it's not hyper-realistic, but it's not like super cartoonish. Like I don't feel like I'm playing a caricature. I feel like I'm playing a character, which is really funny because you'll have people who are like looking to get Lotro points or whatever, and they're like, well, just make a new character, go through, do these things, and then delete the character. And I'm like, delete the character? I don't even know who you are. Like, how could you delete somebody? That's just so mean. So, anyway, that's just my own hang up. I'm doing some barricades here. So Megan says, it's 150 day, huh? Congrats, yay, thank you. Yes, I know. And Doranel says, delete the character. What travesty. Feels like murder, says Aaron Bart. I know, right? It's weird. It's so weird, that idea. Like, why would you do that? We got all the barricades. You can hop down. Cool. Thank you for coming to our aid. You're welcome. You want to come up? Kato's looking at me. Yeah, do what you want, baby. So, yes, Telerian, how could you do that? Megan, how long did it take me? So, let's see. I did the Valar to 140. And then we've been in here a lot, though. Like, we've been kind of grinding it out a little bit. And we've been doing missions a lot. We've been in, we did do some questing in the new region. But it's been a lot of missions. And how long did it take us? A couple weeks, right? I'm trying to think. How long has it taken us for me to get to 150 after the Valar? I did a Valar to 140 first. Oh yeah, there we go. Megan says, I've been playing Lore Master trying to select talents and pets without going full meta. Well, okay, so there's, I think, a kind of a middle ground, right? Because if you're like, oh, I read that the saber cat is the best for the type of questing that I'm doing, and then you're like, but I don't enjoy playing with the saber cat, it's not going to be the best at doing the questing that you're doing, right? If you're like, but I know how the bear works, and I really like the way the bear works, and what the bear does for me works really well with my style of playing, then you use the bear. So I think, I mean, yes, I know some people have very strong opinions on, this is the right thing to do for this situation. But if it doesn't work with your playstyle, it's not going to be effective. So there you go. Yeah, Megan says, it sounds crazy, but I've been trying to use Spirit of Nature for the heals, right? Like, I've played with Spirit of Nature before, and I didn't quite get the rhythm of it, but I think it's a great idea, you know, to, to have your pet be healing you. Like, what a cool idea. We've been playing with some of the missions where you've, or not missions, but like instances where you've got your helper and your soldier person, your skirmish soldier. We've been doing skirmishes, and you have a skirmish soldier. And Affodil's soldier is often a healer, and mine is often an archer. And that pairs together really nicely, because then we've got her healer over there just healing us from time to time. And I know there's people that are like, what? Why would you waste your soldier on a healer? I'm like, because it works for our play style. Because then Affodil can come in and be all pew pew, which, you know, going strong on the DPS is something that Affodil really enjoys to do. But, you know, I mean, B4 is really also really great with healing as a minstrel when that's necessary. So it, you know, gives us opportunities to try to do different things, and that's nice. So, okay, so B4 says we did the Valars on November 11. Okay, so there we go. Phineas says, I've deleted characters who I named very badly. How could I have come up with that combination of letters? Do you know, you didn't have to delete them, you could do a rename. All right, Kato has just come and laid down in my lap, and unfortunately she's on the cable. Sweetie, that didn't work out very well. Hang on. I might, okay, you know what? I think I'm going to unplug, so hang on just a second. Hopefully this will come back. Give me a second. Okay, hopefully I'm back. That's hilarious. You're such a silly cat. It's been chilly here. Oh, good, thank you. Apparently I am hearable. It's gotten chilly here lately, and the cats are like, ooh, you're warm. So I totally get it. Like, yeah. All right, so this is a puzzle, this one, where you have to get the light into the chamber, and these things take me forever. So I just stand out of the way, let Affodil do it. It's great. So, so let's see, where were we? Yes, Phineas had deleted instead of renaming. Oh my gosh! And then I get, you know, I can understand that, I suppose. But, and then let's see. Yeah, Megan says, I think I want to bind the heal ability to a key so I can just heal when I want. That sounds like a smart way to do it. And you know, I do. You know, you've got like the different bars and stuff here, right? There's still a bunch of these grubbugs. I'm glad they can't do stairs. They're like Daleks. Elevate! Is that one coming? I think that one might be coming. I'm not sure. Well, it's coming now. I'll deal with it. If you want to do levers. Oh, there's another one. How many of these things are there? Good grief. You have to break their shell, and then you can get into them better. All right. Although that's making me hungry for seafood. Anyway, so I have, I have my bars along the bottom over there, as you can see. But then I have 2 of my bars I've put over on the side, and that's kind of allows me to have things in a different kind of mental space for me. So I've got like my bars over here, over on the far side, you can see over there. And that's where I've got like my foods and my most frequently used cosmetic pets. But then I also have like my Desperate Flight, which is a hunter skill that I hardly ever use. But when I want to use it, it's good to be able to find it really quickly. So things like that. So that could be something like, you know, you could pick an like out of the way place to stick something like that. You could also keybind it just in general, right? So like on my keyboard, I like to lock and unlock my bars. I like to have control over that a little bit easier. And because I will put like my Wenda thing down at the bottom and stuff like that. but it's too easy for me to leave my bars unlocked and then drag things off. So I created a keybind for that. And so like the regular keys are over here, and I put it way over here. This is my button for locking and unlocking. It's way over there on the side, so I can't hit it by mistake very easily. So that could be something like if you're trying to find it really fast, is find a large key on your keyboard and be like, I'm going to bind it to that. You know, that could be the sort of thing. Excuse me. So let's see. Timo says, I might go on my founders. If I play a new server, I won't have to delete. Hey, we successfully got into the vault. Thank you. Ed Dornell says, oh, the pain when you could rename instead of delete. So if it was a brand new character, I could see that, where you haven't like hardly done any deeds or anything like that, but I would still have a hard time with that. But Rosenbloom here, that we are chilling out with, she actually, there was a, oh, this is our Good and Bad Daily wrapper. Let's turn that in. She actually came from a temporary 1 month server. It was like a, it was a, what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, like it was a PvP server. And it was just limited to the Eriador area, so just those level 50s. And you could attack other characters, other players' characters, out in the world. The restriction was you had to pick a side, and so you were either like, you know, Eladan and Elrohir. They were kind of like, you know, talking smack about who's better, and so basically you picked a side, and so you could only attack. You could attack people who picked the other team, and the way you got points in the game, though, were honor points, was by doing deeds. It wasn't by it didn't have anything to do with attacking each other. That was just like a kind of a side benefit. And so it was a tournament server, yeah. And so, so we played there for that month, and given that we are completionist people, we did great on doing deeds. Hey, do you want to do some more missions and try and keep working on grabbing you to 150?
Well, it's in build my blue bar.
Okay.
So that's cool. Yeah, whatever you want to do. You want to do missions, if you want to do content.
I don't think, let's do some more missions.
What you have in mind? Like Wildwood?
Oh yeah, let's go do the Wildwood. I like the Wildwood. I can take us to Trestle Bridge. There it is. I love being a hunter, being able to take people around. Yeah, Agarther, Bombadil, Tournament of the Twins. Thank you. That was the name of it. The server name was Bombadil. This was like the summer of 2020, I think it was. Because it was during the lockdown period. And we were in our apartment doing nothing else but playing Lotro. I was doing nothing else but playing Lotro. Yeah. Before was working as well. But yeah, I played a lot of Lotro in that time. Anyway, so yeah, it was just doing deeds, and so we did very well. Anyway, there was a cloak that you could get for your faction if you got to a certain number of those honor points. So hang on, I'm going to follow you for a second because I'm going to pull up my wardrobe and show everybody. I'll do the powder crates. So you had what we called the hot dog cloak because it's very orangey. And then, let's see, so that was Team Eladan. And then Team Elrohir had this blue and white version. They're not dyeable, you can't change them in any way, but they're quite pretty actually. And they match some things really well. So, so you had to be a member of that faction and get a certain number of honor points in order to earn that cloak. And after that, it was just titles. And the titles were account-wide, so after that, it really didn't matter. Oh, so I had one character that was the completionist character. We did everything. And that character, then I transferred over to Evernight because I was looking for a European server. And then my second character, where'd you go? I lost track of you. Oh, you're over here. I just had her do the cloak for the other faction, and then and so she, she was deed completionist up to a certain point, and then I was like, okay, got my stuff, I'm done. And I played her a little bit after that because, funny thing is, that's the same time that the Midsummer Festival began. The very first time of the Midsummer Festival was during the Tournament of the Twins. I'm like, why at the same time? For people like myself who are like such festival junkies, I was like, this is not ideal. But the funny thing is, that's when they were also, Lotro was being, as well as a number of other games, were being attacked by those, it wasn't DDoS, but it was some sort of, somebody was doing attacks on online gaming. And Lotro was unfortunately one of those who was being targeted. And so there was some lag issues that people were running into. It was affecting gameplay. Over on the tournament server, there was hardly anybody there. And so it was great because there was no lag at all in Minas Tirith, which is where, the Midsummer Festival is. So I'm like, I'll just take my characters here completely through the festival every day. This is the best place to do that. So this character actually did the festival every day that year as well, I believe, as well as my main. Because once we had gotten all the deeds, there was only a couple I still needed, and they were like tier 3 of the Rift of Ner'zgashu, and there's a lock on that. So once you attempt it, you're locked out until the next time it's available or whatever. So, and then you can't go alone. Like for the Rift, you really need like a group of people, and you need a group of people who are, going to be able to do it. So there was only a handful of people still on the server at that point that could help me get that deed done. So there was a lot of waiting in between kind of thing. So I was just like, okay, I'll do festival. So this character, she was an elf, I think a high elf, possibly. And she had a whole different name. So actually, I think I did it on stream. I definitely did the race change on stream because I wanted to show that in case anybody else was curious what that looked like. So if you go back, I'm not sure when. Probably have to do a search. But yeah, I did a race change, so to make her a Hobbit. And then I did a name change either before or after the race change. I can't remember which. Maybe right after. So I definitely did not delete this character and start over with a new name. I was like, no, we are definitely doing a name change here. We're spending the Lotro points for that. Absolutely. So Megan had said, I really wish I could see the heals on a detail meter besides just the combat log. I don't know. Maybe is there a plugin that does that information? I don't know if that. So what plugins can do is if the information is in the game, sometimes a plugin can find a way to, visually represent that information. Okay, Egg Arthur says combat analysis can show your healing. Oh, am I too slow? Oh, you guys said the same thing. Awesome. Cool. I'm just catching up because I was chatting for a while there. So yeah, and before mentions also about using number pad and the plus symbol for locking and unlocking things. So it was fun. Megan says that sounds like fun. It was fun. I had fun with it. People complained because they were looking for they wanted the PvP aspect of it to be what you got points for, what gave you, the score, whatever, the honor points. And it wasn't, it was the deeds. And so they felt like it wasn't a true PvP server. I'm like, you can totally hit people though. So from my perspective, it's totally a PvP server. So I don't know. I thought it was good. Oh, I've lost my person. Hang on. Okay. /cpet. Oh, sorry, just pet. She's not cpet. Pet. Release. She got caught somewhere on something, I'm sure. And now I can summon her again. So I can ask if I can leave. Thank you. Yes, Timothos, dragging the skill off the hotbar. A tale as old as time. Tell me about it. It's at least I'm with, you know, good company on that one. All right, so let's turn that in. And we're going to do assault on Trestle Bridge. Again, making me hungry. Salt, pepper, garlic. All right, so the first thing you do in these Wildwood ones is you pick up the summoning horn, and then you summon Radril that you just talked to a minute ago, and
What do you need?
take her quest, which in this case she's saying there are people coming from that way, or there could be people coming from that way, and we are under attack. Dun, 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 we must protect the town. Lost Shire Hobbit says, I fell through the Hobbit door to Middle Earth. I like it. Aaron Bird likes the blue cloak. Yeah, I know, right? Like, the cloaks aren't bad, actually. They're a little big. They got the big shoulders going on. So they're a little much for a Hobbit. But I have worn them, especially there's an elf outfit I put together. High elf outfit that it looked pretty good. Elf or high elf, I can't remember. I'm not sure. But with the orange, I think it was with the unflagging dragon outfit, and I had done it in orange, and it looked really good together. So I found limited use for it. I just don't wear a lot of capes. No capes with my Hobbit characters. So that also kind of limits how much use I'm getting out of those two capes. But I have them. They were limited use, limited time availability. So I have them. I'm pretty happy about that. And every time I start a new character, it's one of those things that shows up in my inventory. So every one of my characters from now to infinity gets those two capes. So if I ever start like a new server or something like that, I'm like, boom, I already have it. So that's kind of cool. Hey, give me this torchbearer. Thank you. Let's see. Okay, so you talked about combat analysis. And let's see. Oh, Aaron Bard says, it bothers me so much that cloaks don't cover your shoulders. It makes you feel cold. Well, I think those cloaks do, actually. Or at least they're big in the shoulders. Now, I'm wearing a scarf thingy, and I like the scarf thingy. Well, I like scarves, so I'm like a scarf person these days, so that could be part of it. It's so funny, like, sometimes I'm trying to figure out the character of my characters, like, you know, what's their personality and all of that. And when I'm not sure, I kind of end up defaulting to stuff that I end up liking. So it's kind of funny. So yes, my characters, you know, they knit, they crochet, they wear scarves. Now they do a lot of dyeing. I don't do any dyeing. I don't know how to do that in real life. I find it interesting, and I love the fact that I can do that in the game and not have chemicals and all this stuff. So that's nice. So Megan's still saying you get a little confused on the heals from the Spirit of Nature pet. But yeah, hopefully maybe getting some more detailed information might help. Could also put something on the forums, because I'm sure there's other lore masters who use it and use it effectively, and somebody might have some good advice. Aaron Bird says, my character has an embarrassing number of cloaks. You know, sometimes you can just let your cloaks hang in the closet. It's totally fine. You don't have to wear them all. Yeah, before. Oh, your character loves scarves, tea, and being cozy? Color me surprised. Yeah. I don't do backflips like my character on the screen does. Attack on cut fast. Okay, hang on a second. And travel now. So we're doing it so that Affodil goes in first, because we aren't. So she can come and be doing a flip when we come in.
We're close enough level now. We could do it first.
Oh yeah, you might get more experience, huh?
I would.
So okay, let me finish the thought. We are choosing who goes in first because we are not the same level, and whoever goes in first sets the level of the instance. And so in order to make more progress through these instances and thereby get, you know, lots of experience, we have been having her go first because we can go through them faster if we're not trying to punch up, as it were, basically. And therefore, if we go through them faster, we get more experience over, the course of the same amount of time. So that's a thing. But now that I'm 150, we're not actually trying to get me experience, although I'm just shooting everything in sight. Sorry. It's a hunter thing. Hunter's got to hunt, Is there something I can shoot? What? Shoot it. Okay. Let me start doing some of these cages and things. Yeah, so that's why we've been going in with her entering first and then I follow. But that's true. We could go start doing the having me enter first, because basically I get 100% of experience, although I'm capped because I'm a server level cap. So I get 0 now. And then she's getting, if we're coming in here at 148, she's getting 148. If we come in at 150, I mean, she's getting 100%. But if we come in at 150, she'll get 100% plus, a smidge. So, which would help accelerate hers. So there we go. Let's see. Tellurian says, just keep in mind, though, that some statistics cannot be determined very accurately. So a hit of 10,000 on a mob having 100,000 morale, 100 morale left is still a 10,000k hit, as well as a 10,000k heal on a fully healed character is still a 10,000k heal. It just doesn't have any effect because you're fully healed. So, yeah. So it can only tell you so much information, but at least it could give you more information maybe than what you're getting now. Oh, yeah, B4 points out, for the mission, it sets the level of the mob to the first person who enters. But the quest, your quest, any quest that you have are your own level. Sorry if I was, if I gave incorrect or confusing information there. Yeah, it's a little silly to begin with, right? So B4 points out that if you want to know your damage throughput or healing throughput, it's good. If you want to know exactly what you did in a fight, it won't be as helpful. I think it sounds like, though, Megan, you could just use like some more guidance on and a little bit more detail on what you're getting anyway. So it sounds like it could be at least a good place to start. I'm really grateful that I can run around with B4 because he's really good at being able to notice how something's happening. So, for example, with the hunter, there's a really nice sequence where you can use camouflage and go into a stealth, which gives you 50% ranged critical chance on the first thing that you hit when you break that stealth. And then there's burn hot, drawing upon deep reserves you let fly with great strength and precision. Oops, maybe I'm attacking somebody that you're not. And so with burn hot, it gives you plus 55% range damage, plus 25% ranged skill power cost. And then improved focus gives you plus 25% ranged critical chance, and where is it? Plus 25% bow critical multiplier. So, so it's common to do one thing and then the next thing and then the next thing, like do them in that order, and then you choose which thing you're going to, attack with, which skill you're going to use. Like Heartseeker is a great one to follow to do with that, especially if you have a single target. So sometimes I'll follow that with Heartseeker. If I'm doing a group, sometimes I'll follow that with the rain of arrows, because then I can hit a whole bunch of things and they all get that damage, which is great. And then an Affodil as a minstrel has this like explodey thing she does, and that does a lot of damage. So between the pair of us, sometimes we can just like bam bam take things out really fast. It's pretty neat. Okay, then I will start us off on Brooding in the Depths. So I click go, I hit travel now. All right, and then I'll wait. Oh, Aaron Bird's got to run. Take care, everyone, and have fun out there. Yeah, have fun, Aaron Bird. We'll see you next time. So, yeah, there's a Hobbit poetry thing coming up, like middle of December. I'm hoping to go to, so that'll be cool. Anyway, yeah. So, yeah, bye. Megan says, yeah, I like all the data, like all data, all data. Talarian says, I just wanted to stress that you have to look carefully at statistics you did not do yourself, and then be even more skeptical. A good dose of healthy skepticism is good, right?
How can I be of service?
All right, I'm going to release my pet because she gets caught up on everything in here. Hey, baby. Cat's turning around. So I have a blanket on my lap, and then I just kind of create like a little bowl for her, and she's actually under the desk. I have my legs up on a footstool, and I create like a little nest with the blanket, and then my legs kind of keeping her in there. And so, yeah. Oh, I wonder if Aaron left because of the spiders. He doesn't like the spider one. So before says, I really like the improved swift bow as an opener because it seems like those crit benefits apply to each of the 3 arrows independently. Yeah, fair enough, fair enough. So that's the improved swift bow. That's quick shot. Split shot. Oh yeah, that one. The do. Yeah. Yeah, that's a nice one too. So yeah, you've definitely got options to play around with. So anyway, that's something that has become known, that these are different ways that you can start off with a hunter to get some really good critical hits and do lots of good damage. And so there might be something similar when it comes to that healing pet for you. I'm thinking there might be some combos or, sequences where people are like, oh yeah, when you're using the healing pet, you want to start off with this because then that unlocks this, which allows this to do an extra, extra high bonus or whatever. That might not be necessarily like super obvious. Lotro HQ is not bad for stuff like that sometimes too. Sometimes, like if I'm trying a new thing, like I was trying Burglar for a while, and I'm like, I do not understand how to play Burglar. And I got some good advice off of there to kind of just get me going. And then I could figure it out from there. Now, as it turns out, I just don't really enjoy playing the Burglar. It just doesn't stick. So that's fine. I don't have to do it. I just came back to playing a Hunter, and I'm pretty happy. But it did help me at least have something I could do. What I had to do, because like I said, it just did not stick. What I had to do was lay it out on my bar in the exact order of the sequences. So I have like over and over again the same skills listed in a row, because I'm like, I don't know how else to, I'm not going to remember how to do this otherwise. So. Yeah. Before it says, it's a shame not to get all those crit benefits, and then not crit. Yeah, right. So, I could be like, eh. Now the problem is I'm still setting up and she's over there already fighting things. And I'm like, I was going to hit things. So what we do is if we are actually attacking something big and we want me to have all those critical hits, is she'll just pause for a second. All right, Enmity of the Spiders 3. Awesome. So that gives me some Lotro points, 15 Lotro points, and Hobbit Resilience, which is Hope, +2 Hope, if I wanted to equip that. What do I have, I wonder? Let me see. Hey, Gandalf, what have I got going on here? I have Stoop for a Stone, because that just cracks me up. Although I'm not actually using it, so I could put Hobbit Resilience on, I suppose. What else have I got on here? I've got Guile and Conviction bonus. Oh, that's Fellowship Maneuvers. I get bonus on a couple of Fellowship Maneuver options. That seems a little useless. Let me follow you here. Actually, okay, let me close that up here. I'll do that in a minute. Maybe when we're not running around. what do we need to do? Return to the entrance. Okay. Returning to the entrance. So there's kind of a storyline here with the Wildwood and the whole trestle bridge thing that we're doing. But I'm kind of skipping over it. So, but I figure you all can like follow, come in and do the stuff on yourselves and really get into it. So I'm just giving you a taste of what you could be doing. Also, I'm getting these these brie marks, so I can like do stuff. Invaders in the Delph? Cool. Okay. All right, so let's see. I'm gonna grab the summoning horn and do the summoning and follow you while I pull up my Gandalf. Okay, so what are we gonna use here? So we've got this one, which gives me a benefit to the Spider's Guile and Eagle's Cry contributions on Fellowship Maneuvers, which is a silly thing. So let's put that, let's say no for that for a moment. We could do Hobbit Club damage bonus, which apparently I don't have on. That seems like a better idea. We have Invaders on the Delph. Are they after the blue plates? Yes. Hobbit Stature, which gives me extra might. Why not? Virtuous Hobbit, apparently I don't even have that earned yet. We have Return to Mickle Delving, don't need it because I'm a hunter. We have Hobbit Silence, which I do have equipped. Hobbit Resilience, that's the hope thingy, which I think I will put on. And then, what do we have here? Hobbit Stealth? I think I have that equipped. And Stoop for Stone. Yeah. Okay, so we could get rid of the Stoop for Stone. Oh, hang on. All right, so we'll get rid of Stoop for Stone and we'll put in the Hobbit Resilience instead. There we go. Yeah, that seems like a good series, yeah. And I have one trait point I haven't spent yet. I'll come back to that. Cool. So I can give us hope. Oh, there you are. Hey, come back. I want to give you some hope. No. I don't think we need it. Here, I don't see any bad stuff. What is it here? This is. We have a hope of 5. Hope blazes within your heart.
We have +4 are active.
And we have currently a +4 active. And I don't think they stack, so I think my +2 is kind of when we don't have anything else that might be useful, but that's about it. So yeah, if you didn't know that, you can look at your mini radar, and down at around 4 or 5 o'clock on the radar, it has a little bauble there, and it tells you what your hope level is. Your health level is less than half. It's fine. Okay. Probably fine. Oh, time to hit things. Yes, we don't have any Delft blue in our house. It's expensive, so I haven't bothered. We have other Dutch-looking things, and that's cool. Makes me happy. We have our Dutch cats. I mean, they're from the Netherlands. They're Dutch. Yes, the cats are also not blue. That's true. There's a question for B4 and his stream, hopefully later. Yes, he will be on after me. So yeah, for those of you who are not aware, B4, who's playing Affodil here with me, is my sweetie, and he is also a Lotro streamer, and he will be on after me in about like half an hour or so. And he does a lot of Lotro plugin development, so he'll be doing some of that on stream. Here, go ahead and follow me. I'll take us to the next slide. Yeah, so he'll be working on the plugin, this plugin here, the deed tracker, during his stream, because with the update, they made some changes to the in-game deed log, which is what the deed tracker is based off of. And so he needs to make some updates to that in order to have it reflect what's going on in the game and capture that information and everything. So, okay, just making sure you're following. Cool, you are. Do we have all of our rad rolls? Here she comes. Roll, rad roll. There they come. All right. So the question was, why do you have to remove a local from the code to make the bootstrap reloader work again? That is very specific. Yep. Just wanted to give a warning that I want to know that. That's awesome. Yes, we do take requests before, and I do. So if there's like specific content you were like, man, I really wish you would show that on stream, just let me know. I'm happy to oblige. I need to cleanse myself, perhaps. There we go. I was taking some damage. Before says that's a very personal question. Probably something to do with like GitHub or something like that. Sniper arrow? Who asked you? Okay. So we are in the Wildwood part of the world. We are in an instance, but it's based off of the landscape. And so there are quests you can do on landscape that are very similar to what we are doing here in this instance. But this instance is pretty specific in terms of like who we're going to encounter here and what's going to be here and all those sorts of things. That's funny. I shot the guy behind him, and then he's like, oh, what? Something's happening here. I'm going to just kind of hit you. Now, I will tell you there is a bit more programming and coding sorts of stuff, technical stuff that happens on his stream. Just a little bit, he says. But you are still welcome to like ask Lotro questions and all sorts of things. It does not preclude the fact that you can still talk about Lotro and ask other Lotro style questions. It doesn't have to just be about the plugins. Oh, but I was going to say you could like get him to do a Hobbit flip, for example. Radrill, your Radrill is confused. She's like, oh, things above her head there. That was wild. There was, this month of November, a fundraiser called Extra Life, and it raises money for children's hospitals, like the Children's Hospital Miracle Network. There may be too many words in that phrase. In North America, so like in the US and Canada, I believe are the only places where those hospitals are located. Anyway, Extra Life is an organization. It raises money for the hospitals. And you can say, hey, I'm raising money. And then it can raise money for a specific one within that network if you want, and so forth. So SSG participates in that fundraiser every year. Goodness gracious, Rockzilla. And so there's like a streaming day where people around the world will stream their gameplay, and during that time they will be raising money for Extra Life, or through Extra Life. So SSG participates in that, and I went ahead and joined the fundraising team for the third time in a row, so that was cool. And this year, and so we did a 16-hour marathon where we took turns. So like I did an hour, Cordovan did a couple hours, and so forth. But we all together did 16 hours, straight in a row. So that was fun. So if you donated during that stream or any other time, so it doesn't have to be during that stream, you can get some goodies for in the game as a thank you from SSG for helping to raise money for the children's hospitals. So let's see, we need to put a linky-doo. Did I lose my red roll? Well, if I did, I can just do a pet release. Oh no, mine's still coming. I see mine. Ooh, look at that moon. That's pretty. Nice. All right. Anyway, so this is a reminder. That's why I've left this thing up above my head as a reminder, because there are people who did donate during the stream, who may be here and have not filled out their form. If you would like goodies, you need to tell Cord, because he doesn't know. Oh, okay. Would you like me to take you to... Okay. No problemo. We're going to pause here for just a second. Affodil is going to disappear. And I'll tell you, he's got to go spend some tokens of heroism. So, okay. So, if you donated, or if you are going to donate to Extra Life, here's a reminder. There's the link there that will take you to the team, the Extra Life team, Standing Stone team, games team page. Too many words, but you know what I'm trying to say. And then you can like pick a person and donate under that person's name, or I think you can donate just to the team and it'll auto-assign. Be like, yeah, good job, team. After you do that, go to that link, the lotro.com/news/lotro-extra-life-2023 -en, and it will tell you, it'll show you the loot list. There's a list of loot for the community for participating in community-style events. It is conveniently called the Community Loot List. And you can pick things off of that list based on how much you donated. So if you donated at least $10, you can pick out, I think, 1 or 2 things off the list and so forth. The reason I'm mentioning it now, because after the end of November, which is coming very soon, Friday is the 1st of December. I know, it's crazy. But after the end of November, Cordovan is going to take all the people whose surveys he's received and put them into a bucket, virtually probably, and draw out some extra winners. So I know they're giving away, let me see, it's on the list. I'll just open that. Open Earl. Bum, 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 bum. So they're group incentives. So he's going to pick 25 plus 25 plus 25, because we met all the goals. So he's going to pick 75 additional people to receive a 500 Lotro point code. So 75 people are going to get 500 Lotro points. He's then going to select another 25, 25, and 25. So another 75 people to get another pick off of the community loot list. And then he's also giving away 1 edition of the Ultimate Corsairs of Umbar edition, the Ultimate Edition for Corsairs of Umbar, the one we just got. Which reminds me, while we're alting and waiting, I'm going to alt because I wanted to show you all something and I totally forgot about it until just now, which is the Corsairs of Umbar bundle. So let me get started on logging in over there. I set it aside on my character on Treebeard so I could show you on stream. And then every week I'm playing on my character on Treebeard and I'm like, I forgot again. So, so I'm going to do it this time. All right. So it's logging into the next one, but it's taking time to log off of this one. So give it a second. Yeah, we'll close that one. Thank you. And, I'm just going to, there we go. We're just going to turn off that server text for the moment. Because we're popping over to Treebeard. There we go. And I'll show you what you get out of the Ultimate Edition of the Corsairs of Umbar bundle, because that's what I did. I love getting the pets and the mounts and all the extra goodies. And so I'm a sucker for when the Ultimate Editions come out. I tend to get them like every time. I even have sometimes gotten those extra bundles. Like I didn't do the elf one, but I did do like the Hobbits of Lindleby bundle they did. I did go ahead and get some stuff, and so I've got like the bed and the banners and the hearths, which I'm finding the hearths are so fantastic. You can put them in your house, and it looks like it's a built-in fireplace in your house, and you can turn it on and everything. So I'm just like plopping those all over my new Lindleby houses. It's so good. So this is your reminder to go and fill in those surveys, because you want to get your goodies, and it puts you into the drawing for all the extra goodies. So yes, make sure you do that in the next couple of days if you haven't already. Okay, so in my vault, I set aside a Mariner bundle. I don't know why I called it Mariner bundle. Because I guess it's because when it first came out, you got the Mariner, and then you had to wait for the Corsairs of Umbar stuff to come out. So in my mind, it was the Mariner bundle. Okay, so let's pull this stuff out, and we can take a look at it. So I got 3 enhanced XP supplies. So grants you an amount of enhanced experience based on your level, doubling the experience that you gain from defeating enemies and completing quests. This increases character XP, legendary item XP, and mounted combat XP. When using this item, enhanced XP is represented by the light blue area on your XP bar. Although in my case, it's green because I'm using a skin. Oh, we were talking skins earlier. I'm probably using the same one here. I think I'm using the Delving Hills. Yeah, I'm using J.R.R. Delving Hills Wide 2. Yeah, I'm using the same one here as I think I'm using on the other one. That's one of my favorites. It's very hobbity, so it works out well. Okay, so that's one of the things I got. Let me just make it so it's just this box of stuff. Okay. And then I also got 3 frames. So you get 1 frame for the basic edition, 1 frame for the like expanded edition or whatever it's called, and then 1 frame for the ultimate edition. So if you were to win the ultimate edition off of that drawing, you would get all 3 of these frames. So it's the Fleet Merchants frame, and the Swashbucklers frame, and the Tide Breakers frame. And I don't recall which one is which. So which one came with which, but let's take a look at them. Sometimes they show up a little different when you're using a plugin, or yeah, it's a skin. So hopefully these will look right. But here's the Swashbucklers frame, and it has kind of like a metal rivets look with like some gold around it. Okay, so that one is, let's see, that's the Swashbucklers frame. And then the Fleet Merchants frame is like a blue metal, like a, I don't know what you call it, kind of like a cobalt. No, that's not quite. Like like a muted blue. And it's got like some little harder pieces on the sides there. Okay, so that's that one. And then the Tide Breakers frame is more of kind of like a gold with some gold rivets here, and it's got some fun little trills up at the top. So those are the 3 different frames that you get in that package. Okay, so let me go back to, I really like the Samwise frame because it's the potatoes, and that's so cute. So, all right, and then the last thing I have is I have Heart of a Hobbit hits 150. Doesn't sound healthy. Hey, you got to live a good life. It's the potatoes. What can I say? Okay, so then I also got 2 bundles that were extra bonus items. So let's move this out of the way because we know that that's already accounted for. So this is, and we'll move that out of the way so we don't have any conflicts here. Okay, so this is, so there was the, okay, so there's the regular edition where you get like, the ability to be a mariner, and you get the Corsairs of Umbar content, right? And I think you get a couple other things, excuse me. This is the bundle that you get for the next bump up. So this is what they call the Collector's Edition. Okay, so special items for purchasing the Collector's Edition or Ultimate Fan Edition of Corsairs of Umbar. So, and this gives me the Fleet Merchant's Cosmetic Armor, which, let me see, did I put that in my wardrobe? Let's see if I did. sometimes I've gotten to the point where my wardrobe has gotten so full that sometimes I just set things aside and I'm like, I'm not even gonna put this in the wardrobe. Okay, I did not. So we'll come back to that here in a second. You get the Fleet Merchant Steed. So we're gonna go ahead and put that in there and we'll take a look at it. So the Fleet Merchant Steed looks like that. It's got those greens and purples and it's really pretty. Let me get on it. Move this out the way, and we'll move that out the way. So that's the Fleet Merchant's Steed. So this is the one that you get out of the middle bundle. And of course, if you get the ultimate, you get this also, of course. So that's that one. Okay, so let's bring this all back. And let's see, you get the Tome of the Fennec Fox, which is a cute little cosmetic pet. So let's see, Fennec Fox with his big tall ears. He looks like David Tennant. Did you come out yet? Where are you at, yo? Hang on. Let me try that again. There we go. I heard it come out. There you go, Simon. Well, I'm going to rename that one. There we go. Although I should just name the doctor, but there we are. So there's my little Fennec Fox. And then you also get a new earring. So I'm currently wearing the Earring of the Dead City and the Fateful Gundabad earring. So it's the same of those, just the next version up. So it scales with your character. So it has plus might, plus agility, plus will, plus vitality, plus critical rating, plus fate, and then plus 25% legendary item and mounted combat XP, and plus 25% experience gain on monster kills, crafting, and quest completions. And the Earring of the Dead City does that up until 120, the plus 25 experience. The Gundabad one goes up to 130, and then the Fleet Merchant's Earring goes up until 140. So it's the same thing, it's just the next, it's the next level up. Okay, so we didn't get to see this. So we're gonna go ahead and open up the Fleet Merchant's outfit. And this is actually kind of pretty, so there we go. And I have to get out of my Hobbit stuff. Okay, so it's kind of like this shiny, ocean blue, ocean green color, so that's lovely. So you've got the boots down here, you've got the tunic here, you've got shoulders, you've got a nice headband, I like the headband, it's cute. And then you've got this cute cloak. And I do like the cloak, how it's a little bit shorter than your average, so that's nice. And these do dye up from what I recall, right? So gold, yeah, they do dye up pretty well. So you've got some, if you like the style of it, but you just wish it was in a different color, you've really got some good options there. And you can see how it holds the color really well. So there you go, there it is in black. And look at those details in the along there. So that's really cool. I do appreciate that they've, paid attention to all these extra details. Wonder if the shoulders have more details that we're not seeing. Okay, no, it looks like we got rivets there. And the arm glove. I hardly ever wear gloves, so it's not going to be obvious on my character usually, but yeah. Anyway, okay, so that's the Fleet Merchant's armor, cosmetic armor that you get with the collector's edition. Okay, so I'll tell you what we're going to do. Oops, what are we doing here? Oh, that's what's going on. We're going to and find the box. And I'll just open up show the top one. Okay, so now we'll go ahead and open up the bonus box for the Corsairs of Umbar Ultimate Fan Edition. So this is the highest level one. So this is what came out of this bundle. So this is the Tidebreakers cosmetic outfit. We'll take a look at that in a minute because I'm pretty sure I didn't put that in my wardrobe either. Like I said, my wardrobe is just getting so full that I have to really start making lots of, I have to make choices. And what I do is I basically usually put these aside on a character that I'm not playing very often, and that way I have it available. Like I don't open the box, I just leave it sitting there, and then it's like, okay, I have that for when I'm ready for it. Let's see, you get the Tidebreaker's Steed. So everything here is going to be Tidebreaker is the theme name. So go back to our mounts, and we'll do our Tidebreaker Steed. So that is this one, which has a lot more blue going on, whereas the last one had that kind of oceany green blue, tealish kind of color. But this one's got more leather and definitely got some definite blue colors going on in that steed. Okay. So then we also get the Tome of the Parrot. So this is kind of fun. You've got some options with this because, oops, there's the parrot. And so here's the parrot following you around, right? So named Polly, of course. So there's the parrot. Now you also get, oh wait, okay, here's the swashbuckle emote. So swashbuckle, see if I've typed that correctly. Yeah. Which is a fun, here, let me get rid of our pet here. Okay, let's try that again so you can see that maybe a little better. And I'll zoom in. And we'll do like this. There you go. Swoosh, doo, doo. It's like a little dance and everything. It's cute. Let me do it one more time. It's kind of fun. Oh, you know, it'd probably be easier to see if I wasn't in this outfit. Let me throw my equipment outfit real quick. Well, call my equipment outfit so naff. Here, I'll show you this one. This one might be easier to see. Here we go. Isn't that cool? It's kind of fun. I like that. Okay, so that's an emote you get, which I really like. And then you just stand there looking all, you know, whatever. Okay, and then we also got the Tidebreaker's weapon aura, which I am not really good at figuring out how to use these. So you can just kind of ignore that, and then, but it's cool. I've been able to make it work on some characters because I've gotten some help from people. Otherwise, I don't know what I'm doing. Like I said, for some reason, I just really struggle with these. Like, I want to swap out the weapon aura of Orcbane. I don't want the Orcbane one. So that's Riverfolk. That's Rakish. Oh, that's Orcbane. Okay, so we'll just move that there. So at least it's in a different place. Okay, so then, and then we've got a normal weapon aura, which we don't need. And then, okay, so this is a cool thing. So we're going to open the Tidebreaker's cosmetic outfit because, if I remember correctly, this is where the parrot is. So this is the outfit of the Tidebreaker. So the Tidebreaker's hat. This is where you might be seeing this cloak. It's kind of got like an angle to it and like ships and stuff on it. So, and I love this hat. Isn't that the great, like that's such a good hat. That's a very swashbuckling hat, right? So there's some really fun swashbuckly stuff in this outfit. And let me zoom back out. Fancy fun emote says, I don't know. Yeah, I know, right? I love that emote. It's so fun. Oh yes, and Gwendra says, I love how you end the emote with the cutlass on your shoulder. It's great for screen caps. It's such a good emote. I think they did a good job with that one. Okay, so here's the fun thing is then there's also this the shoulder item, which it'll say on here, note, parrot will appear only if this item is equipped as gear. So you have to actually go into your equipment and swap it out. So like right now I'm wearing, you know, shoulders that give me agility, vitality, critical. I have to lose that, but I get the parrot. So now I have a parrot on my shoulder that is equipped based on the fact that I have it equipped as equipment. Okay, so this is the second thing I can think of that they do that, because they also have that the back item that has like the flowers in it, and if you equip that as a equipment item, it also shows up, it has butterflies that show up for you. Oh, Gwendra says the trick with the auras, equip normal weapon auras on your equipment slots. Then put the auras on your costume. Sometimes you have to unequip the normal aura and re-equip it to switch between costume auras. Okay. Right? Like why can't this just be easier? But hey, before I forget, I want to show you, so let me see if I can get into combat with something without killing it. Because with, okay, so the parrot is gone. Oh yeah, no, the parrot's still there. Sorry, my bad. The parrot is there. It's on my shoulder as I'm riding. It's there all the time. Okay, so here's a southern thief. So the parrot's on my shoulder. Let me see if I can trap this guy without killing it. Nope. But the parrot flew away anyway because I'm in combat. And then give it a second and the parrot flies back. So that's kind of fun. So it's an interactive cosmetic item, but it's actually a gear item. So you can't get it equipped cosmetically. It just won't work. It has to work as a gear item. But I love that when you go into combat, it shows up like that. It flies away, and then you can get it to fly back. So this came up on a stream because I think it was Scenario. No, I think it was Severlin, who's the SSG. He's the guy in charge. And they were like, well, why can't we have it as a cosmetic? It just was a thing. It wouldn't work that way. So his thing was what he expected people would do, the kind of their like, you know, the case they would do with it is when they were doing role playing or doing, you know, kind of light things like this, they would go ahead and equip the parrot and have it as a cosmetic item, but it takes up that space of your shoulders and you would lose those, you know, that extra armor. But when you are actually out in the world and questing, you would more likely swap out, put your shoulders back on, your normal ones, and get the cosmetic pet out to follow you around and just fly behind you. So that's probably, like, that's kind of what they were hoping or were thinking that people might do as the way they do it. So, okay, so let me try what you're talking about here, Gwendris. So, equip normal weapon auras on the equipment slots. Okay. I'm glad I didn't sell that. Where did I put it, though? Where'd it go? Oh, my bag one's on top of the other stuff. That's why. Okay, so put this in the normal one here. Okay. And then put the aura on my costume. Okay, so let's see. Which one have I been using? And we're going into winter time. I like this one. This one's a good one. Okay, so then take the river folk and we'll put it here. Where's the pan? Why is my pan showing? Oh, because I'm on a different outfit. All right, so is my cup all sparkly? My cup, how do I make my cup sparkly? I mean, that's just a funny idea, really. Now, if I equip it cosmetically out of the vault, out of my wardrobe, does that still work? Like, if I go... Oh, I did equip it cosmetically, so of course it's not from here. What if I do like that? Okay, let's switch back. Hey, my frying pan is a little sparkly, isn't it? Okay. Oh, I should hide the gloves. Those gloves aren't right for this outfit. It looks like it's dripping and kind of, that's funny. Oh, I like that idea. Maybe I'll have to put the frying pan with that aura on more often. Okay. Thank you for your help on that. I'm looking better on that. So anyway, I wanted to make sure I took the time to show y'all the options there because I had set it aside with the intention of doing that and then forgot every week for the last month. You know, and so it's been sitting there just for you all, and now I've remembered, so yay. You can get the normal auras from folks like Rowan Raspberry for silver. Oh, that's nice. I keep selling mine because I'm like, why do I have all these normal auras? I don't need this many. So I just sell them all off. Maybe I should stop doing that. Yeah. Okay, so there you go. So there is the cool stuff that you can get from from the different editions of the new Corsairs of Umbar expansion. So if you, so make sure to go and get your form done if you haven't done it already. So that way you're in for the drawing for the Ultimate Edition, because he will be drawing that in like either the end of the week. Cord was planning, I think he said he was going to do it after. You know what? I think it's on that page. Let's see. Does he say? Oh, I don't know. End of the month is what I'm hearing in my ear. Yes. So if you aren't sure what you want at the time you make the donation, feel free to wait until you are ready to send in your survey. Just make sure to get it to us before the end of November. Here it says all group incentive giveaways will take place after November 30th, and winners will be notified through the contact information provided to me in the Survey Monkey survey. So my guess is he'll probably do that this weekend, because he has he does that sometimes where he'll just like spend the weekend working on giving, the charity stuff. Like, you're like, you should take your free time. But no, he does that. So Valkyrie Shield Maiden said, how do I join? Are you talking about the Extra Life stuff? Here, just go to that page if you want to donate, and then go to that first link to find out what goodies you get. And then the second link is to tell Cord what goodies you want. The Loshire Hobbit says, you mean, does Cord even sleep some weeks? I know, right? And he's a dad, so he's got, dad duties, and he just, I don't know how he gets it all done. He's a busy guy. So, well, actually, I think we may end up ending it here, because I think, oh, thanks. That guy jumped right over me. That was awesome. I appreciate that when people do that instead of like running through you. It's like just, I like how it kind of like keeps the game, keep you immersed in the game. I think before is getting prepared. We need like 5 minutes or. Okay, cool. So, you know what? So while we have a minute or two, I'm going to pull up the schedule. Of course, I haven't checked to make sure that nothing's changed, but I think this is still the same. So next week, Treebeard goes up to cap level of 95, and we get Helm's Deep and Western Rohan. That's on December 6th. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that'll be Wednesday. And then next Thursday, the Yule Festival begins. So get yourself ready for that. Just, make sure you've got some time set aside in your calendar. Another thing that happens a lot of times with the Yule Festival is groups, like especially on Lorelyn, will, take that as an opportunity to do different role-playing events. So a lot of times there'll be like a Hobbit gathering to meet at the snowball field and have a big snowball fight together. Or there'll be like musical events, or So Loshire Hobbit says, get ready to drop everything and head to Winterhome. There's a lot of activity that happens out there with that. So keep that in mind. Keep your schedule open for that. I know there's like a winter poetry Hobbit event that's happening middle of December on Lorelyn. So there's a lot of opportunities to do all sorts of fun stuff. Valkyria Shield Maiden says, oh, that sounds so cozy. It is. I just love a lot of the Hobbit stuff that happens over on Lorelyn. It's some good stuff. So definitely, keep your schedule open. If you're ever trying to find out what's going on, I know this is a very specific piece of Lotro, but if you're ever curious what is going on from a hobbiting perspective on Lorelyn, so, again, very specific, the Bramblebury Gazette, and I've just put the link there in the chat, is a really great resource. It's not like everything, but it does capture quite a lot of what is going on, and especially the recurring events, the Hobbit role-playing events that are happening on Lorelyn. it's really, really handy information there. Oh yeah, Egg Arthur points out that endgame folks will probably be running Storvagun during Yule, because, and he says, assuming the bracelets are best in slots, so get to 150 if you want to jump on that bandwagon. So what he's talking about, and I'll explain this real quick, and then I think before we'll be ready. During a number of the festivals, let me go to the instance finder here. During a number of the festivals, they've started doing seasonal specific instances. So it's kind of like, here, I'll just show you. So the Yule one, there's two options. There's Yule, the Battle of Frostbluff, and that one can be done at any level starting at minimum level 10 all the way up through server cap. And that one is like, there's some kids and they're having snowball fights, but the cold weather has come in and you have to go and defeat things to help them continue on with their celebration. So that one's fun. And then you also have often, here I'll just open all of these so you can see the comparison, a boss from the vaults. And what that is it takes a boss that you would have encountered at some point in the past. So Storvagun, which is the giant in the giant wing, it's like level 50, 60 instance cluster. And he's like on a mountain and there's all these things happening up there. Boss from the vaults from the spring is Naruhel the Red Maid from that place in the Lone Lands. Brain is from the place, oh, not Erlun. Whoa, I got it right on my map. The Red Maid over in the Lone Lands, in Agamar, Garth Garwin, that area. So it's the Red Maid from that you run into. Cool, thank you. During the Farmer's Fair, they do a boss from the vaults, which is you just encounter Thrang and so forth. Okay, so during the Yule Festival, the boss from the vaults, the one that you encounter, is Storvagun. So basically you come into the instance and you're right at that part before you walk out, and there's like that kind of open space where there's a big drop off at the one side, but then there's like these big cliffs over on this side before you. So it's right before you walk out into that space, and Storvagun is standing out there. So you gather there, and then, yeah, Garth Garwin, thank you, Egg Arthur. So you're standing there, you gather your group together, and then you go in, and the instance starts. And, or the encounter, you know, the things that happen. And you go and you defeat the guy, hopefully. And you can do that at tier 1, tier 2, or tier 3. That's something I didn't mention. So the boss from the vaults, in these options here, you can do it at tier 1 or tier 2, or in some cases there's a tier 3. So you choose, you know, whether you're doing it easier or harder. The hardest levels, I believe, right, Arthur? You have to do Storvagun at the top tier. One of the items that you can get from defeating him is a bracelet. So a bracelet, so all's that. But it is it the jingle? No, that's a different thing, isn't it? Anyway, that bracelet is basically the best one that you can find for end game, for the hunt, you know, for cap level people. So a lot of times people will gather because the bracelet drops at your level, and so you want to be top level to get the best thing. So a lot of times people will do that. So that's what he's commenting on. So running the boss from the vaults, Storvagun, is a great thing to do during the Yule Festival, regardless of what level you are, because if you can get that bracelet, it is really handy. And or was it the Jingle Bell? That was somewhere, or maybe that was Thrang. That one's also a really good one. So yeah, B4 points out that Treebeard folk will need to rush if they want to get from 85 to 95, if they want to get the cap level ability. Nah. Yeah. I'm not too worried about it. I think I'll be fine with whatever happens. So anyway, so that's some fun stuff. So yeah, the more social aspect encounter that you can do, you can choose what size you do it at, but the tier is always the same. And then the boss from the vaults, the size is always the same, but the tier is what you can change. So that's kind of the difference between those. I'll show you that again, though, once the festival starts. We'll be certain to go in and do some of that during the festival. So if that doesn't make sense or you still have questions, we won't be able to do it next week because the festival won't have started yet on Tuesday, but it'll start on Thursday. So in 2 weeks, time, I'll be doing festival on stream and can show you all of that stuff. No problem. All right. Well, I think I and my dripping frying pan, much thanks there to for the help there by Guarendis. I may have to copy and paste that out because I know like Druid's Fire also walked me through it, but then I forgot, so I may have to just copy and paste that. So anyway, thank you everybody for coming along and enjoying the trip here, especially getting to the 150. So I have a cap level character on a regular server. That's pretty exciting. So, all right. So probably next week we might be doing some of the delvings, because delvings are missions, regular missions, but there's an extra layer that you can put on them if you're at the cap level. So we might start doing that next week over on Laurelin. What's that?
Get some equipment.
Get some equipment, yes. Before is very excited about getting some higher level equipment for his character. All right, thanks everybody, and thank you for all the thanks on the stream. Yes, take care. I will. Thank you very much. And everybody else, you take care also. And stay connected to the Hobbit side of your heart, which to me means take care of yourself and take care of each other out there. All right, stick around for before, coming up right next. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.